1 Corinthians 10 admonishes us to go back and see what happened to those who had fallen in the wilderness, to learn from their examples, especially those of us upon whom the ends of the earth are come. And my last presentation, I dealt with the first issue, which was idolatry. Second was sexual immorality, which I deal with quite regularly. But the third was a matter of grumbling. And I pointed out last week that a principal problem of the people in the wilderness, they did not know how to manage problems. And today I want to talk about mastering problems in the wilderness. I want to say that this is really the most critical issue. Your adversity quotient is more important than your intelligence quotient. It is not IQ that is most responsible for success, but AQ. Because there are a lot of very bright people who are unsuccessful. A lot of very bright people who are poor, who are failures in their careers and in their businesses, failures in their marriages, failures generally in life. Very brilliant people. Some of whom started out with great academic success, but they were not able to manage the problems of life. Many in the church showed great promise and had in fact solid achievements over years. You have to be able to deal with the setbacks, the frustrations, and the surprises of life. Even more so, life has many surprises. I mean, I can't think of what is going to hit us. You have to have the capacity to deal with the surprises of life. It's one thing when you're anticipating something, when you're thinking that this could happen, and you are bracing yourself for it. But when you're hit with something, sometimes you're in a relationship that you think is so solid, I tell you, you think that relationship is so, that nothing can come against this relationship, And you say to yourself that, boy, honey, is a good thing with all the problems we have. It's a good thing we have each other. A good thing, boy, we are here to face it together, man, at least. We have each other. Smile, we have each other. Sometimes I don't know where we go, but love has made us one. You try to remember that while sometimes you feel that, boy, together and true. There are some things that if some of us were to face them with other people, we would do much better. That's a fact. And sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you is for you to really lose that trusted person. Because a lot of times you can see people's lives that once certain people are out of their lives, you start to see them life decline. We have a great deal of influence on other people. And people mean a lot to us. We often exaggerate our own importance and contribution and underestimate the role that other people play in our stability. But you feel you are not banking to lose particular people. But I suggest that to problem-proof your life, even do a little simulation, think about the most important people in your life and think about actually having to live without them. Because you want to eliminate as many surprises as possible. It is not possible to eliminate all the surprises. It's amazing what can happen in life. But at least if you visualize some things. Now there are some keys I want to share with you in managing problems. But the first thing that needs to be understood, is the inevitability of problems. The inevitability. Once you're alive, whether you're Christian, Muslim, atheist, Shintoist, whatever you are going to have problems. Everybody has problems. Rich people have problems. Famous people have problems. Handsome people have problems. Everybody has problems. So unless you are going to commit suicide, and in case we are wrong about it, there's no hell, but it could be a possibility we will be wrong. You might think that suicide is the answer, but you're probably never even totally sure. Probably you kill yourself and find yourself living somewhere else. I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, but don't foolproof. I'm not taking a chance. Perhaps there's a special hell for those who kill themselves. So you can't know. I said that to say you can't know. But unless you kill yourself with the assumption that you will end your problems, you never really, once you're alive. So, all of you sitting here, I better realize that it is a fact that you are either in a problem, just coming out of one, or about to enter one. So it must be of critical importance that you have the skills to deal with problems. It's critically important that you develop those skills to deal with problems. So the first thing that everybody has problems. The second thing is you can't succeed in life without religion. You can't succeed in life unless you know how to manage problems. If you even leave the church and you want to be successful in your business because, you're not a God, so you only can concentrate on money and those things. No, there's nothing else to live for. This is your only life. If your only life, you better make this life as hassle-free or make this life as manageable as possible because it's the only one. So secular, if you're going to take a secular option, you have to learn how to deal with problems. But I put it to you that especially for the Christian, the Christian faces particular problems because it is through problems that the Christian develops character. Now you need to understand, this is now where you come into a doctrinal issue. This part of it now is doctrinal. You need to understand why our approach must be different from Joyce Meyer, Joel Osteen, Frederick Casey Price, and others. So a lot of you listen to these people, and there's a lot of benefit you can get from listening to them. Practical things that they deal with help you in your life. So I say listen. But you have to understand doctrine when you listen to these people, because there is an underlying false doctrine that motivates the preaching of Austin and all these people. You have to be skilled like me to be able to get the best treasures from these people and know how to reject the dross. But you have to know doctrine first. If you don't know doctrine now, you're going to be sabotaged badly. These people believe as a doctrine that Christians are in the kingdom now. They believe that all the blessings and the benefits of the kingdom are now. You need to understand that doctrinally. They believe that through the cross, all the curses of the old covenant have been reversed, including the curse of poverty and the curse of illness. So they believe that they have a right to wealth and a right to health. So a number of you knock them and say they're only after money. You don't understand the theology. There's a theology behind it. Some of them are hustlers, yes. But some of people are just sincerely deceived. They have a bad theology. They actually believe that when Jesus died, he reversed the curses of the old covenant, which included poverty, sickness, and all of these things. So they feel, you see, our theology is a kingdom of God future theology, where we believe that all of those blessings are in the future. We need to understand these people believe that they are now, that since Calvary, since Christ came, you can claim. So you hear them talk about things like sowing in the kingdom and being in the kingdom and so on. And so you have to understand the language of these people. So some of you listen to these you come in the true church and you come over with the same ideas. Now, those ideas will hurt you. It's not that those ideas are harmless. They're going to hurt you. I'm going to show you. Those ideas are going to hurt you. Because sooner you're going to come up against the reality that life doesn't work the way these people say. When you are called, there's another thing also. These people believe in a doctrine of justification by faith, which says that works are not required, that Jesus has done everything for you, and that God doesn't really require anything from you. You are really just now living to demonstrate the power of the kingdom, and then you're going to be taken to heaven when you die. What we teach is that this is boot camp for the king. We actually teach that God is putting us through a series of tests now to see who will qualify for the kingdom. So while my presentation today is practical, you members, you need to have a theological understanding of problems. To the extent that you are going to start to expect problems, and you need to know why. You need to know the role of problems in your life, and you need to connect problems with purpose. You need to connect problems with purpose. So often when Church of God members tell me that, why this is happening to them, so I wonder if they understand the doctrine of the church. Why? I mean, why? That's why I tell you all the time. You never live to hear me talk about why me. That's one thing you would never live, no matter what happens. I will never ask that. Never cross my mind. If I'm discovered with an aggressive stage 4 cancer, tomorrow, you would never hear me say, boy, look how me serve God and look how much work me have to do and all that. I won't ask why. God is a man, I expect anything from him. Good thing. No, but anything he does ultimately is good. It depends on how you define good. This is very important. It's very important. When you look at the Israelites, they underestimated what the freedom would take. They underestimated what the deliverance would take. It's a major thing, when you underestimate. Some people go in some jobs, they underestimate what the job, and after a time they're frustrated with the job. They did not know what was really required. Some people go in marriage and what their expectations were. Those expectations crash early. Your expectations have a lot to do with your suffering. Your expectations. That's why I tell you that suffering is not really objective. It means that it differs from person to person depending on what people expect. Some people, for example, expect to feel good every day. They expect to feel bubbly every day. I, for example, I don't. So if I have an off day, I say to myself, there are off days, so I don't worry about it. I just go through the motions, and sometimes I know what to do. Either I cut my day or whatever, I just say, I have to just slug through this day. I'm not feeling the vibes. But I know that some days I will not feel the vibes. So I am not led to do things that other people, because they don't feel right. Now they have to use some things to fill that day. Your expectations have a lot to do. If you know that sometimes you are going to feel down, you are not going to have the same feelings all the time. So when you're going through, you just say to yourself, say, I have to go through it. It might be a day or two, but the sun will come out tomorrow. Even people who are severely depressed get some little moments of change. They might not come back around many times to the normal person's level of happiness. But the intensity of the depression does not continue. It has different degrees of depression. I'm glad I learned some things in life. I'm glad I learned enough theology, good theology. I've kept staying in church for 45 years. A lot of people who are strong and make a lot of things fall away. 3 major things that I have that I've seen them lacking with. They're all lacked. 1, I didn't read and know enough theology. I know enough theology not to leave and go off into something else. Read enough, study enough, so other things don't attract me. Good theology. Secondly, good philosophy. You need to come to my home and look at my library, or at my 300 books that I have on Kindle. My wife is happy because I know we have all the books and we're running out of space, and we have 2 rooms. Well, I have 2 rooms and we're still running out of space. A good thing I have Kindle now, I can have 300 on a little device. Massive amount of things, the latest things on philosophy. So, others who read some little foolishness on the internet and gone off, don't believe in God, I don't believe in Bible and so on. I read too much. So, remain centered. And third and very important, from early, read a lot of psychology. A lot of psychology. So because of the theology, I don't go astray like Austin and all of these good superficial people who are expecting life to be a certain way, and I know that we are not in the kingdom now. Philosophy, I'm grounded in philosophy, and therefore I'm not led off, and therefore I'm committed to the faith and realize that everything else is bankrupt. Philosophy helps me, grounds me in that. So I don't see any alternative. That's why I stick to this, because I don't see any alternative. I'm not excited about worldly life, not excited about secular life, not excited. Fame and money and those things can't hold me. That is because of my philosophical grounding. And psychology, I learned to deal with problems. If you have philosophy and you have theology and you can't deal with problems, you're going to crash. There are lots of people who have good theology. Many of you here have good theology. You might not really have good philosophy, much philosophy, but you come service, you hear the good theology. So a lot of you have good theology. You pick up some good philosophy from here and there. But there's a mastery of life. That's why I give you hell. That's what I'm going to deal with today. The mastery of life. So people's words, hurt you. People's words offend you. You stay up at night worrying about what people say, worrying about pastors' sermons that, by the time pastor enjoy himself and you can't sleep, or toss and turn. You have to learn to free up yourself. Some of you you're not actualizing freedom. You have put out the bread, but you don't really have freedom. People's opinions still control you, people's words. Some of you are even hearing things that your parents told you when you were 5. And you're reaching your 40s now, and your 30s and 50s, and your parents' words still hurt you. First 5 years are very crucial, A lot of damage that is done there, it's hard to be reversed. So a lot of people, the psychological strength you should have to live your Christian life. And you're going to need all the psychological strength in this life because it's hard. You don't have it because you have a lot of baggage. So you need to listen to me carefully today on how to master the problems in the wilderness. So the people who left them ran out. Remember, you know, from before them leave Egypt, them lift up them eyes and them see Pharaoh and the Egyptian army. And them start to bawl out and say, because they know graves. And there were, you need to understand what slavery does to the mind. It robs you of, the most important thing, it robs you of self-esteem and self-confidence. So them had an attitude, me dead now, me dead. Pharaoh come. Pharaoh is stronger than me. Pharaoh's army is stronger than me. Pharaoh's armies had me in bondage all these years, but he must catch me. Pharaoh and his army, they are the masters, they must catch me. And it's like you see your parents, and but the worst thing they can do to your children is pass on negative thinking, negative words. And not only that, your children watch and they see your style, they see how you deal with problems in the house and you know, them start to see how you start panicking and make up whoop and nice when problems come in. And a lot of people who you see are adjusted in life, they can tell you about, you know, so my mother was a praying woman, even when we didn't have no food, that woman would go up on her knee and feel that somebody soon come. And later in life, that spirit influenced them because they had so many examples of their mothers or grandmothers showing faith that when they start to face problems, they automatically, it's like a genetic endowment, they automatically respond that way because people learn through example. Children live what they learn. So a lot of you are panicking in the house. You take them to church on Sabbath, you know, and they hear about faith and times you believe in a God and faith. But the way you behave on a day-to-day basis contradicts that. They know say you only come to church and hear pastor, but you know, live that way then. So they live enough hypocrisy, not a real hypocrisy, you know, not a hypocrisy that you devise, but it's hypocrisy because you know really following the faith. They pick up that you panic when there are problems. So the first thing you need to understand, the first thing, I'm giving you some keys to mastering the problems in the wilderness. The first thing you have to understand as a Christian, you have to understand the doctrine of Armstrong, doctrine of the church. This is the doctrine of the church now. The doctrine of the church is that God is reproducing himself. But listen to the doctrine, you know. God is making other God beings. He cannot make God beings except if they have character. Character means, Mr. Armstrong defined it as the independent decision of an entity to commit to a particular way and to go that way, to commit to the way. He understood that we would not be perfect. What he said is a commitment to a particular way and to go that way. So Mr. Armstrong taught that character, that God could not create character in somebody else by its very nature. You can't make a square round and so on. There are some things that are logically impossible. There are logical impossibilities. Character cannot be created. It is a logical impossibility because character depends on free will, free choice. If it depends on free choice, it means it is what you and I do. Mr. Armstrong taught us that for us to become God beings, presently we have two God beings, for us to become God beings, those two beings were always in existence. They are essentially God and ontologically God. We don't go into too much philosophy because we'll lose you. But for others to have this godlike nature, they will have to choose it. And the two beings who are God have to confer it. Now I take up all your time with theology, but you need to understand little theology, little doctrine before I go into the practical. I tell you, if you don't understand the theology, you won't be able to deal with the practical problems. And you need to understand now why you go through problems. Why it is necessary. Why if you're not having any problems now, something wrong with you. If your life is too smooth, I have to question whether you're being called. I'm telling you, if your life is too smooth, I have to wonder, you have to wonder whether you're a Christian. If you are not having to, well, you're wasting time. Your purpose on the earth is to go through problems, master them. If you are not having a problem, you are wasting time. Your life have no purpose. It's like calling a school and there's no teaching taking place and no test taking place. What's the purpose of the school? Is to just have sports. That's why most churches, most schools are now sports academies. Fun and games. So we're doing well at champs and doing well in sport, but poorly in terms of academics. But that's another thing. So you need to understand. So when I start faced with problems, Mr. Boy, gotta work with me. Some of you feel that money is the only problem you have. No, the fact that I have money, I have other problems. And in managing, well, know to have money and prioritize. Well, that's one overcoming a problem which we overcome a long time. So that is no longer a problem. But there are other problems. Every one of us must have problems. But the problems don't have to affect us in the same degree. I'm going to show you that. Because don't bother move no answer because you have to have a problem, you must be down. No, I'm going to show you. You can have a problem and be happy throughout. In fact, you can reach a stage in your life where, well, it's like problem is no problem. I tell you that. There is a possibility you can reach a place. So, you need to understand. This is the theology now. You have to. It is through the problems that you are able to develop the character. Now, you need to understand another thing. Problems are close to the purpose. Well, let me give you some text. 1 Peter 4:12. 1 Peter 4:12. Good thing I have time. I just want to go to see how the leaders, especially you leaders today, I want to address you. I want you to listen very carefully, leaders. Because you are being particularly targeted, you know, because you have an important role to play. We have big campaign coming here and all. Our Satan have plans for all of us. So I'm telling you now, leaders, we're not going to have more problems than the people. When you put yourself in leadership, you put up yourself for more problems than the regular people who are just coming to church. Because if Satan captures one of us, he knows how weak many members are. You know. If chapter one, you're likely to get several through one. And the stronger we are, more people will fall. Unfortunate, but Satan knows that. Because people are going to get shaken and drop out. So, please, for the sake of others, watch yourselves. So please, leaders, pay particular attention to this. 1 Peter 4 and verse 12. We need to have this in mind. Beloved, do not be surprised at the fiery trial which comes upon you to test you, as though something strange is happening. If I could get every church member to understand this. When I sit down with you and you're going through problems, I'm sympathetic to you. Don't start to wonder why this is happening. Why my wife start behaving like this? Why my husband start behaving like this? Why all of these problems in the church? We never expect that. How come? How can somebody else fall away? When these start to baffle you now, I lead you back. Do not act as though it's something strange. The only person, you know, who can behave like something strange is the person who believes that they are in the kingdom now. If you are in the kingdom now, and you are supposed to have health and wealth, then my God, if you really don't have that, that's a problem. How come? If you are supposed to have all these physical blessings, and it now happen, and you know you have faith, and you know you're living up, it really is a problem with the theology. But I am not, this is not a Joel Osteen and Joyce Meyer church. So don't be surprised. It's a different church with a different theology. The theology is problems now, solutions, and the paradise later, not paradise now. So when I sit down with you as a Church of God member, remember, say it's not Harold Blair and them people you talk to. I am dealing with your individual problems because it's like what you call it, case management study, a case management thing, law. And each person a different case. But all of us have problems. All of us were at-risk people, It's an at-risk Church of God, this, Because Satan wants to take your crown. Everybody is at risk. Everybody is vulnerable. So I am a counselor now. I deal with at-risk people. So everybody have a different case file, I have a case file for you now. Case file, Clark. We have case file for everybody. Because case file depends on your history, your proclivities, your different things, and your behaviors. Some man have a case file for my drug problem. Some other man have an anger problem. Some other man smoking. Different thing, and you go through the case management file, and you might suggest that for you now, send you over yourself for this person. That's all. He's a case management person. So that's my work. But everybody is at risk. So you have to deal now your church. You have to realize you're at risk. And you have to operate like that. On a daily basis, as the Bible says, Satan goes around seeking whom may devour. You can't go on like, you just go on like, friendly territory. You have problems. You have problems on your job. Sometimes you're going to be unemployed. That's a part. Don't regard, when I'm unemployed and now. What is happening? Why you dickens you ask me a fool question, what is happening? What kind of nonsense you ask what is happening? You're a Christian. You lose your job. And it's an opportunity to show whether you go under, you take job on Sabbath and holidays. It's an opportunity. Ask me a fool question. What is happening? We're in a war. And you realize that some soldiers get killed. And you wonder, boy, I wonder if this war, the soldier get killed. How come soldier get killed? Because it's a real war. Man don't get killed in a war. You lose for your head now and you want to go back home. Then when you come in at the war, you never think somebody will get dead. You run on scared. You never think somebody will get dead. You feel say, oh, no, we'll go back. And not, we are fighting against the enemy and none, we're not going to lose anybody. And some of the people might not be your friends. Oh, gee. Grow up, man. It's going to be hard. I'm going to take that approach. I'm going to work with you because I'm going to understand, boy, the man who was in your battalion, man, he's a good friend. And boy, you feel him so skilled that he wouldn't get killed. You have to go work with you. I go sympathize with you. But you still not going to ask why. You're not going to ask why, because you understand the theology and the philosophy, but you're going to need psychological help. Well, that's why we have an army of compassionate people. You understand? I'm going to wipe off your wounds, and you get wounded, because your friend dead. I'm going to wipe off your wounds, and I'm going to work with you. I'm going to realize you're going to have many flashbacks. Long after, months after your friend dead, you're going to have flashbacks. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to work with you. You must miss your friend. But you can't give up your war. You have to remember why you are in the war. You're still fighting. The war is not over. So we can't go back home. The war is not over. Hear it now. Do not be surprised that the fiery trial comes upon you to try you, as though something strange are happening. But rejoice as you share Christ's sufferings. The idea of sharing Christ's sufferings. Go back again to our doctrine. Jesus learned obedience by taking him suffer. Jesus said, if you suffer with me, you will be glorified with me. Jesus was a human being, asked back for his God life. So after we have suffered for a little while, God will give us God life. It's a process. And Jesus showed the way. Overcame sin, got God life. So it was. But him suffer. We just came through the Passover season. He suffered a lot before the cross and while on the cross. Suffering is a part. Now, we've had people in the church who don't like the suffering thing. All of them, every single one have not survived. Sometimes you say, well, you know, now I can say every single one. Every single one who had that view. I am not surprised. I knew enough theology and things. They couldn't survive. This church, you can survive for a long time with that. You see, if you don't accept suffering, you go and hold out for a long time, but after that time, your Achilles heel is going to be exposed. You can't keep it up. I tell you something, this religion, you have somebody that you can't keep it up for a long. This religion, you can't keep it up forever. You can't keep the live now come up. The fact that you're not fully with it is going to come up. It must show. The suffering, an integral thing you have to accept. It's hard. Verse 40, if you are insulted for the name of Christ, you are blessed. You are what? That takes a certain kind of perspective, you know. If you are insulted, you are blessed. Who thinks that way? 1 Peter 4:16, if anyone suffers as a Christian, let him not be ashamed. That means, you know, you have a different mindset. A different mindset. Suffering, what it means that you have a good relationship with a man. And as far as you see, apart from church reasons, this is the right man for you. The only one thing that stands between you and him is the church. Your suffering might not mean, you know, because probably you will have no job that you can deal with that. Sexual problem you can deal with. Over problem you can deal with. One thing, losing this man who you know is the man of your dreams. You have to realize this is your sacrifice. This is your Isaac where you give up. Everybody has an Isaac to give up, and this is your Isaac. This is a man. Because he's a good man. He'll be better than all the man in the church. You have a lot of men out of the world, you know, better than the man in the church. That's the women who say, true, man. Man, them want to say, me hard than them. Well, that's the man in the world, better than the church man. And sometimes the women would just wish that God would call them. Because you know, the doctrine call, theology again, you know, the woman must understand now the doctrine, you know. Then can't call the man, you know, God have to call the man. Right? Left up to the woman, them would have called the man. Sometimes they call the man, and the man come at church, but he don't get the call, so he can't stay. But he's a good man otherwise, but he's just not a man who the Holy Spirit will be, you know. And you see other reasons why it can't work. That's your sacrifice. But I tell you, that problem is connected with purpose. The extent to which you can deal with a problem is the extent to which you see purpose. Like, all right. If I were to try to go learn drive, at my age, I'm going to learn to go drive. If me go the first time, me start have problems. Me give up and say, boy, I change my mind. I don't have any motivation. We have people to drive and we can afford to pay people to drive. I don't have any motivation. Problems are connected with purpose. A person who know now say them not no money for employing nobody, them need for learn for drive, them all need it for a job. Any number of problems, whether with the instructor, whatever, them learn it. There are some things that some people put up with because they need to put up with it. And it does not become as much of a problem. Yes. You have some women with stay in a marriage. Awful and thing. But the children, them don't pass the worst yet. You know, sometimes there are some marriages that work. If you're staying at them, the worst for the children. But some women decide under some circumstances, you'd be amazed how those women put up with all kind of things from the man, infidelity, all kind of thing. And the woman, she's focused on her children. I tell you, she wants the children them to pass the worst, and she need the man, you know. And as soon as the man passes the worst,
you don't need the man.
You're gone, anything. You're gone and left him. Purpose. The reason why a number of you problems of Christianity affect you so much. You don't know really taken up with it. It's a fact, you know. I tell you the truth. You might not have thought about it. It doesn't mean as much to you. But brother Dwayne, I was puzzling for a long time. Our good friend of mine, whom I rate like myself and in some areas more disciplined, how him could I reject. I was wondering. Until one Monday night himself, he said the difference with you. Because I was saying, yeah, I know me strong and so on, but me rate him too. You saying the difference with you now, you are so taken. You can't see any other life. Other man could have seen another life. You can't, you are so taken, you feel that there's no alternative. That was really the solution to what had been puzzling. I don't see, through my philosophical sophistication, I think, and my reading, I can't see another way. And then, worldly success doesn't mean as much to me. So achieving this and that, those things don't mean as much. And worse when you have it anyway. You realize that it's not. You have it, so you know, feel lost after it. The problems. So I really want to come back and show you, that's this sermon related to last week. The problems like the Israelites. Your purpose not strong enough. Some of you still double-minded. You still want some things in the world. You still want life. You still want some things. You still want it. I consider it like dung. There's a reason why the reason why Paul could be so intense. Paul said, I consider everything as dung. Paul sat under the feet of Gamaliel. Paul was a highly distinguished man and turned him back on it all. Paul said, everything that I achieve, I consider as dung for the surpassing worth of knowing Jesus. That's why I'm going to say, I've kept the faith. So we study them things psychologically. When a man taken up and don't see any other alternative, some others of my friends start to see some other alternatives, start to see the world as attractive, start to feel like there's something out there. Hadn't read enough philosophy and other things to say it's bankrupt. The same thing with the Israelites, The Israelites themselves said, but Egypt wasn't that bad. It was garlic and it was cucumbers and melons. Egypt not that bad. You see, if you're a counselor, husband and wife, you see if a woman or a man reach a stage where she's tired of a man, everything becomes a problem. You definitely know this thing, Some things that would not irritate. You see, if you're committed, you sound like you know this. Young man, I sound like you know. When you think a man start complaining about everything, when you reach a stage where you can't take somebody where you're not committed, everything becomes a problem. And sometimes you're counseling and work with people, You see, when you work with people who don't want to stay together, listen to me, if you don't get them to recapture that commitment, there's nothing you can do. You see, when they come with a list of problems, don't just deal with those problems. Those things are a front. That's not the real problem. The real problem is that they no longer want to be together. You have to get them back to want to be together. When they want to be together, they will deal with any amount of problem that comes. Know these things, man. You reach a stage where you just can't take. Everything you try, but everything irritates you. Problems are related to purpose. When you no longer find a purpose in marriage, a purpose where you stick around. Children them get big, you achieve certain goals, that dependent on the man. Why you think so much divorce among middle class and so on and things? Economic and other factors. A lot of our parents, our grandparents, they were not much happier than us. The reason why granny is here with grandfather, no, because grandfather had go out a thing in the district. And grandma know she never have no economic power. Today, you have as a woman, you have your job until you can walk out on him. A lot of little people used to come round with grandpa and I talk, but a grandpa picked them. A lot of them man that we feel was righteous man, I hold them big Bible and go to church. It's not say man get worse now, it's just that woman never have much choice sometime there. Economic power given woman up a choice. Liberation. Liberate them. That's the problem. Not to mention the pill. First time I just steal my baby all the time. To understand these things, you know. Problems relate to purpose. When purpose gone, problems are magnified. The same way in the Christian life. Therefore, coming out of the days of unleavened bread, if you don't have a real commitment, the problems that you are going to be faced with in the church, every problem will come big enough. And some solutions where you come up with, brethren, I tell you, and not going to be godly solutions. The problem is the heart. So the problem goes back to the first issue that 2 Corinthians 10 mentioned, the idolatry. If you really want to deal with the problems of the Christian life, you deepen your dedication. You take my views that there's no other life. You take my burn the bridges. Remember the story? And Smith himself used to tell us about it. The man when him dropped the people on the island. Remember? Yeah, and him burn all the ship. Board up all the ship them. And tell him, see, you have to succeed there now because you can't go back. You have to reach a stage. Burn the ships, man. But if you feel, say, boy, if things don't work out, me going back. That's why nowadays there are popular phrase that say there's no option to fail. You have to reach that place where there's no option to fail, you know, where you have to succeed. When you take that approach to dealing with problems, there's no option to fail. You deal with your problems in a way that if you feel, say, boy, you know, say, if it don't work out. That's why now they used to have a thing in insurance business. Insurance business. This was a maxim. You can't be in insurance business without a job. I'm going to tell you, listen to me. Don't say you are doing another job. If you take the insurance job, you must make sure it's your only job. Because otherwise, you're not going to persist when people are telling you no, and you're not going to persist to sell. Because you say, boy, if you don't succeed, me, what you think on the side, then we can't go back to. If you know, say, if you don't sell, you're not no food to eat. And that's why commissions, man send you out for commission. Because when man give you base pay, everyone else say, boy, this man base pay, forget it, I might have sell. When you know, say, you have to work, and man put you off and man carry 12 o'clock appointment and 2 o'clock man still have you out there. If you can't talk about pride, why man disrespect me? Man have big man out here wait for 2 o'clock. When you know say money depend, you talk about big man. You either eat your ego or stay hungry. The worldly people, Jesus said the worldly people have more wisdom. The worldly people know these principles. And the practice them. Christian man I feel say boy he might have one foot in the church and one out if the thing don't work out. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let him not feed him will receive anything. So Christianity 101, if we cannot get all I want to know, if we really believe this thing, you know. Some things that become problems. Let's look at some other text. 1 Thessalonians 3:3. We need now to look at the reasons. And you're going to face some new problems this week. New problems will come this week. But if you come with the problems with the kind of mindset I'm giving you, when you succeed, and you see something, you see, if you follow all my principles, help you whether you're in a church or not. Principles of life I'm giving you. Principles of life. I told you, say, a friend of mine, showed me how we could make some money, you know. need to start hold some seminars and charge people money. Some seminars on success. Because people will know, say, a man who have a program on success for 30 years must have a whole heap of lessons when he can teach. Friend of mine show me want to be management. He said, but you know, but again, becoming a motivate for money so much.
Could make more.
You must say, yeah, if you go up and you hold that thing, an indoors thing. Him say, you know, no, if you go indoors, if you move from just doing TV, doing so and so now and start to leverage. No, upstairs, yes. A lot of opportunities abroad, but right here too. Right here also. You have to go upstairs. Upstairs if you can't do better. Man, let me have to leave Jamaica to make money. I don't have to do that.
See right here.
Me have too many opportunities in Jamaica now to make money, man. You have to leave and start out. I put on a seminar. Charge a man $5,000. Come listen to me. After 30 years of interviewing successful people, where me learn what principles. The amount of money I make. And I might think about it. As you were saying to me, which motivational speaker can draw in a crowd like than you in Jamaica? But me, I give them things free today. And I charge you $5,000. You're lucky I get it free.
Let's go.
Free I get it.
Yes.
Lucky. I will soon start charge for it. Hear these principles, but come now, you as Christian. 1 Thessalonians 3:3. Starting 2. 1 Thessalonians 3:2. We sent Timothy, our brother, to establish you and exhort you in the faith. Why? That no one of you be moved by these afflictions. For you yourselves know we are destined for this. The people them start get killed, all kind of things happen. Him said, don't be moved. And Paul was going through persecution, you know. And Paul got jail, you know. And man said, what do you mean? How can Paul go jail? How can man arrest Paul? The gospel go down. The man said, don't you. Paul said, when I came, I told you we're having problems. How come now we gone to jail? People are losing their lives at Thessalonica. And you're panicking. What are you panicking about? We are called to that. That is our lot. We are in the church, you know. We say we are the true church. I'm going on to look at campaigns. Things are going well. And you tell me, say, you as a people who know the Bible and know God, who do not think to yourself there's some problem will broke out, you know. You say, I look at pastors, I keep out, you know, buy equipment and all that. Some problem will come in the church. We don't learn. We don't naively sit down and say, boy, boss, move. We don't not think and say, hell. Chicken Mary up the near. But still I'm going to show you so you don't have to panic when you say that. But you must acknowledge 2 years ago when we start to hit out on some hard doctrines. I'm telling you when we have problems. Some big lights went out.
Yes.
Sometimes you just say when I sleep, man, you need to wake up. And don't learn. Paul says you must not be ignorant of Satan's devices. Whenever you see start church out moving a certain way, you have to start where to come from now. Well, you must think about one of them there. All me a talk and do you think, say, boy, we have pastor fight it out here. You have to be like Donovan. Him once told me, say, you know, every Sabbath when I come and say, I go and stop me and see you, you know. Donovan, I don't know him gone. Oh, him still there. So him tell me.
Yeah.
Him say, him put it in a field mind when him come out in car for a Sabbath. That one of these fine days he might come here and say that I'm not here. Not Ochi. Gone. You better think like him. See, I think him say, when come out in car, those things say, good and come inside or so. And hear some announcement. One and gone. Show you them a thing about that clock. I can't think about that. Better think about these things. So you say, boy, pastor, I'm preaching that. You say, boy, Satan coming after us, man. Satan coming after you, man. Pastor, I'm preaching because Peter coming after us, but Satan gone with him. Can you feel say half him, you know? Why we am pastor, man? No matter what, you know, can you see other people gone, man? From pastor is here, man. Place will pack up back and all, man. Pastor, man. 283 people that think, man. Oh, you gone, man. Oh, you think, man, no matter what happened, man. Pastor 40 years, man. The man understand theology, man understand philosophy, man understand psychology, man. Man have the three things, man. Never think about. Never think about. Get hit with. Never prepare for that one. Thought about everything else, all about everybody else, but never prepare for that one. You must always think about the unthinkable. You must always visualize the unthinkable. You must never feel that anybody is invulnerable.
Nobody.
No matter how many years you see a man have. It's a real war. And in real war, our generals can get killed. And that might be your suffering. But it's a suffering you have to be prepared for. 1 Peter 1:6. 1 Peter 1:6. I want to give you some tools. So I'll be left here hear some bad news. You know what to do with bad news. I want you to develop a thing called mental toughness. You're prepared for anything in life. Anything at school. 1 Peter 1:6. In this you rejoice, though now for a little while. You have been grieved by various trials. Why? So that the genuineness of your faith, which is more precious than gold that perishes, but yet gold is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise. There's a preciousness of our faith, man.
Amen.
Problems. We make for problems. We make for problems. We are here. James 1 and verse 2. Leaders, me are telling you now. We better expect problems because Satan knows that God is dependent a lot on us and the people are dependent on us. Leadership is very important. Leadership is very important to inspire the people. Leadership is very important. Satan knows. Rather than just concentrate on members. Concentrate on the leaders. If you throw them off, you set the whole congregation in disarray. Of course, if the congregation should ever gain its power, if the congregation should really ever gain its liberation, that the strategy of Satan will be defeated. But through Satan knows that the congregation is still under bondage. Still I look to human beings. Satan knows that all you do is lick pastor, lick, scale him coming up here and all that thing. You lick them down with problems. Depression on the whole people. Poor thing. The greatest thing against Satan is when you're not preparing a way. And when Satan gone with us, we don't have a surprise for him. Because we don't think like that for a long time. We don't wonder see what next. You don't prepare yourself to stand alone. You don't like a man prepare for famine. You are stuck up. You go over the old time sermons before me gone and go and stack up. So eventually whatever you are hit with, you are prepared. That is what you need to do. James 1 and verse 2. Count it all joy, my brethren, when you meet various trials, for you know the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. Let steadfastness have its full effect, so that you may be perfect and complete. I wonder if I know what that really I said. No, if I don't know, I don't really understand. He says sometimes rather than run but to not come for the problem, stop. We don't want to let it have its perfect. There's a steadfastness that you need for character development that is best tested in the anvil of problems. And after time, let me say something. You develop a skill that after time, when you deal with certain problems, you come to master it. Let steadfastness have its full effect. Now, problems. Problems can cripple you. Problems can actually make you better. A very important book published recently called What Doesn't Kill Us? The New Psychology of Post-Traumatic Growth. And there's a lot taking place in psychology and neuroscience that shows that not only do some people survive problems, but some people thrive because of problems. They actually do better. Not that problems, well, them survive it and manage. No. They actually do better than if they didn't have the problems. Post-traumatic growth. So the problem doesn't have to kill you. It kills some people. It crushes some people. And talk about, what don't break you, build you, and whatever, and so on. But a lot of people are broken by problems. I know a lot of people are not the same because of problems. People are like trees. The author here gives an example of tree. The tree is buffeted by the wind, but it stands firm and unbending. When the storm has passed, it appears not to have been affected. Some people too seem to weather stressful events, emerging emotionally unscarred. People go through something, they wonder how them go through it. And them survive, and them do well, and them grow. Another tree bends in the wind. It does not break. And when the wind dies down, the tree returns to its original shape. In much the same way, there are people who bend with the strain of life adversely, but quickly bounce back. So some people buffeted, some trees buffeted, they're firm. Others, them really bend, you can see the problems affect them, but them bounce back. Yeah, man, people come back, man, and come back to them same thing. Amen. A third tree bends in the wind. But instead of springing back to its original shape, when the wind abates, it is permanently changed. Lashed by the winds, this tree has been altered, and its shape will never be the same again. In time, it grows around these injuries, and new leaves and branches sprout from the trunk where old growths were severed. Scars, snarls, and mishap limbs give way, give the tree a unique character for the rest of the lifespan. It is no less of a tree than it used to be, was different. I tell you many times, experiences can change you. You emerge and you are not the same person. Some people are not the same people for worse. There are some people, in church, you wonder how they make decisions. Well, here's a fact. They are not the people you really knew first. I tell you, you sat beside them at church and you talk to them, they are not the same. So if you're wondering, no, it's true, they are not the same. Their responses are not the same. Their emotions, they're not the same people. Worse, if you live with somebody, you find them not the same. And a lot of marriages that go sour. After a time, people outgrow one another. I tell them, listen to me, a lot of marriages have failed. It's not true, no particular problem. Well, man, I do this. No. The man is nice. A woman still talks well of the man. Boy, that man is a great man, treat me well, and so on. So she just outgrew him. They just grew apart. They were not the persons they married. Due to no fault of them own. Yes, Brother Clark, I know it's positive, but
No fault.
No fault. But here's how to go to Brother Clark. If both of them now had, in certain, not in all cases, but both of them had a supervening and common purpose, they would be able to, that common purpose now could have kept them together. Because they would see now that for a Christian thing and so on, we need, even though we're growing apart, there's work. You see what? They're not going to have the motivation. Why I try to keep it going? For what? That's why purpose is above everything. If now there's a common Christian goal, if now the marriage is important for others, the marriage is important for God and so on, that gives you a purpose. But if you don't have the purpose, it's easy to just go your way, you enjoy your life, and I go enjoy my life. So as we talk about dealing with problems here, what we are talking about, you brethren, coming out of the days of unleavened bread, we are talking about the level of your commitment to this faith. It's the same way whether you're a single person and struggling with sexual problems, or you're a married person struggling with somebody you fall in love with who is not your wife. The motivation has to do with you relate to these things. Why you see the problems here and here. You see, oh boy, I see you understand these things. What you do, you have to have something higher than your desires and them thing there. Post-traumatic goals. Personal changes may include finding new strengths, achieving, listen man, and the book is filled with examples of people who change. They go through certain crises. Some people become more compassionate, more loving, because them go through certain crises. Some people become more giving. Them start spending more life and others give more. Whereas before they were just, achieving and acquiring things. Sometimes the best thing for us to happen to us to change us is to go through a crisis. Sometimes you lose all a loved one and you'll be amazed how you become to appreciate other people because you lose somebody who you love, and you have to welcome problems. So here's the thing. First, we had looked at first Peter. So we see the general principles. Now, a major thing in life, brethren, major thing in life, perspective, how you see things. How you see things. Most of us catastrophize. Years ago, I learned these words. For every problem in the world, there is a solution, or there is none. For every problem, for every problem under the sun, for every problem under the sun, there is a solution, or there is none. If there is one, try and find it. If there is none, never mind it. Let me give you it again. For every problem under the sun, there is a solution. There is none. If there be one, try and find it. There be none, never mind it. I go through life with that. Every problem that hit me, I remember the prayer of serenity. Teach me to know the things that the things I can't change, the wisdom to accept the things that and the wisdom to know the difference. It's a big thing, you have to learn the difference, because sometimes you think you can't solve something and it can be solved, and sometimes you feel something can be solved and can't. Wisdom to know what to leave alone and what to tackle. I always tell you this thing that I saw on one of my boss's desk one day. There is nothing that will happen today. There is nothing that will happen today that you and I, Lord, can't work out. See why I'm so happy, man? There's nothing. So sometimes when there are problems in the church, I want to panic. I'm cool. There's nothing. Nothing will happen. But I had my heart attack and I was gasping for breath. Terrifying. Either I was going to die or I was going to live. I was going to die. If I was going to die, I knew I fought a good fight. And I knew I kept the faith. And I knew I would die in the truth. And the next moment I'd be in the resurrection. That's great. Great. And I know the Lord could raise me up to do more work. Either case, I'm cool. So even though them put in ventilator and put in all kind of things to resuscitate me, there was no need. Because apart from the healing, my mind had its natural healing powers. And my mind had been nurtured on faith. Nurtured on faith. Positive expectation. And when I went in to put in my stent, I have to sign a paper and exempt the doctor so if me to come back. Him exempted. All right, I'll sign it. Me alone, so the nurse, in my underpants, humiliating thing, take off the clothes and, put things on me. Turn on my face. And one little thought I had. My wife is very strong, a good thing. She's very psychologically strong and can master. But I want to be around for my daughter, so I thought about that she might, at this point, be more vulnerable than the others in the family. But, hear what now? But I said to myself, then if me have that cancer, God don't know that too. So, my thing is easily solvable. If God know that, me can't have no more concern than God. And God has all power. So God, there's a tremendous thing about belief in God, There's an advantage that the believer in God has. The person who doesn't believe doesn't have. And even the person who doesn't believe would understand. There's a psychological advantage. Now the person who doesn't believe will say the psychological advantage is based on an illusion. Whatever the point. Let me say it's an illusion. But illusions are powerful. The thing about us, there's an advantage that we have as Christians who believe in God to the person who doesn't believe in God. We feel that there's no situation that is beyond redemption. No, that's one thing I would lose if I don't believe in God. I would still be a positive thinker and all that, but I'd be limited because there's this power that belief in God gives you. Even if it's an illusion, the atheist will tell you, well, that the Christian has that illusion, has that psychological advantage. There's a psychological advantage we as Christians we don't use. Yes, we have advantage over atheists and everybody else. We don't use it. Faith is a powerful tool. The advantage the Christian has is, even if the Christian fails, the doctor says, stage 4 cancer, you only have 2 weeks. The Christian can say, God can heal me.
I believe it.
The man who don't believe in a God who says there is no God, you have to just take that. Or a hope say mine. He cannot at that moment of crisis. He cannot be stronger than me. Because my illusion has a power. What him call illusion? That has a power. That has a psychological placebo effect. If that is what we are calling it. But we still end up in the real world to have an advantage. You need the power we have, We have an advantage over the atheists. Because we feel that even though it's stage 4 cancer, God will bring about some miracle. I might still dead in 1 week, you know. But me dead with hope, me dead with faith, me dead I feel say, me not dead.
Take out some bird now.
Yeah, it is for the 1 week, I think, well, kind of thing in my mind.
Inevitable coming up.
I think, well, I can't do him lose and what him think, me free. That's why the Christian should be the happiest person in the world. The Christian should be the happiest person. The Christian. What do you understand? The Christian, who take all the disadvantage of being Christian. And there are some, you know, who don't use the advantage when you have as Christian, man. Faith. The different spirit where Joshua and Caleb has. When the people them go and them see the giants, Joshua and Caleb did not deny that there were giants here, you know. All them says we are able to overcome them. So we are not people who are living in denial. We acknowledge that the world rough. Life is tough, as Scott Peck starts his book, The Road Less Traveled. Life is tough. That's what people overcome every day, man. The Christian have an advantage. Let me tell you all a story, man. Listen to me. The Christian have an advantage, even when God says something. God can change your mind for the Christian. No, you don't know if you understand. I will take you to a story. Go to 2 Kings 20. 2 Kings 20. When you're in the wilderness, you need faith in the wilderness. You need faith with all the scorpions and all the serpents. You need faith to take you through the wilderness. You need faith. There is an indomitability about faith. Never say die. I'll tell you about Hezekiah. So I'm glad, you know. Me know. Well, me is one of the happiest men in the world. If them do a study on the happiest people in the world, 7.2 billion, me right up there. A few people in the world happy than me, you know. And that based on what I have. And that can go. Yes. Every day I wake up, I say there's nothing that can happen today that me and the Lord can work out. There's nothing. When things are happening at church, members are panic. Pastor is cool to the point of not that concerned, but I'm cool. Because I am not ruffled. I have challenges. Happiness is a choice. I can choose what I concentrate my mind on. I can choose what I focus on. There are some things I focus on, I'm going to become sad, I'm going to become unhappy. I don't have time. Here's another phrase. Worry is interest paid on trouble before it becomes due. Worry is interest paid on trouble before it becomes due. A lot of things that people worry about never come true. I find that a lot of things that come and bother me, I mean, I say, boy, this could turn out bad. I don't turn out bad at all. I mean, I say to myself, somebody worry about all them something ain't not come true. Sometimes something, I say, oh, Jesus, this might be so-and-so, you know. But me not going to wait for 3 days. Suppose me worry for the 3 days. And after everything turned all right. I said to myself, when the time comes to worry, if it work out bad for the 3 days, when we start worrying, why start worrying before? Enjoy the 3 days before the attack claps come. Happy man. I should sell my formula for happiness, man. I don't have to have with money. You don't have to have money. You don't have to have wife. You don't have to have husband. Happiness is a state of mind, condition. That the people have money, have wife, have things there, and not happy. I'll give you an example here, man. Now, if you ever feel a reason to be doomed to Hezekiah. Listen to Hezekiah. 2 Kings 20 and verse 1. In those days Hezekiah became sick and was at the point of death. And Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came to him. Listen to me. Isaiah had a track record of being right. Isaiah was a man hearing from God. His counsel was like the counsel of Ahithophel. When Isaiah tells you that God says something, you better listen to him. It goes so. Isaiah come to Hezekiah with a message from God that if you are a man going by history and going by tradition, you start quail up, and a few days before you're dead before it, you're dead. Isaiah came and said, set your house in order, for you shall die, you shall not recover. Clear. A man of God said to another man of God, you shall die, you shall not live, you shall not recover. Thus says the Lord. A lot of you would have said, that is it. A lot of you would have said, no, well, God said that. God said it haven't even done. You have to have a faith that when God said, you can change God's mind. Well off, man. Where you come from, man? The Bible teaches him. Then Hezekiah turned his face to the Lord, to the wall, and listen to me, the man of God come and give a message, you know. Hezekiah, rather than panicking, prayed. Oh, Jesus. Oh, if God's people could have them kind of faith, man. Me say, Hezekiah, know that Isaiah is a man of God. The man not only say will die, him say you now recover, to emphasize it. You're dead, you now recover. Get it out of your mind. Dead. If you don't understand what it means, say you're dead, mean you now go recover. This is a sickness unto death, Hezekiah. And Hezekiah the faith say, you have another guest coming. I don't know if Yahweh tell you, I can talk to Yahweh. Hallelujah. I have a relationship with that man who sent you the message, and I can talk to him, and that man will listen to me. And them defiant faith the Church of God people want in these last days, man. There's a spirit, you know. There's a spirit of faith. There's a spirit, man, that refuses to say die. There's a spirit that when it confronts problems, it does not panic. The Church of God needs that spirit of Joshua and Caleb if we are going to make it into the promised land. You have to be able to deal with giants and know that you can defeat every single giant that strikes. I didn't say every striking giant. That's every giant that strikes. I'm careful with my lips. Hezekiah turned his face to the wall, prayed to the Lord, saying, no, Lord, please remember how I walked before you in faithfulness. He ain't talk. Boasted of his faithfulness. Talked about. Sometimes you have to tell God about his sacrifice. Yes. You have to tell God, remind him, in case you forget. I want you to remember. You know, sometimes some of us give up too easily. I feel that some saints have died. Some saints have died that would have lived if they may talk to God in a certain way. Some saints, because of God, they might tremble. Some saints should tell God. I was praying for one sister last week, and I tell God, so listen, man, I am demanding you. I said, God, I'm demanding. You put something, I'm demanding so and so. We need to talk to God in a certain way. Please remember I walked before in faithfulness and with a whole heart, and I've done right what is wrong. And Hezekiah wept bitterly. He wanted to live. Listen to this. Listen to this. Hallelujah. And before Isaiah had gone out of the middle court, hallelujah, the word of the Lord came back to him. Before Isaiah left, God heard and responded. Listen to what God said. Turn back and said to Hezekiah, the leader of my people, and remind him the work we have to do. Thus says the Lord God, the God of David your father. I've heard your prayer. I have seen your tears. Hallelujah. God says, I see your tears. His tears made a difference to God. He wept bitterly, and the tears touched God's heart. The tears touched God's heart. God is a God of compassion. Some of us need to cry more before the God of heaven. Some of us need to wipe our floors with tears, so God see how badly we want what we ask for. God was touched. He said, I have heard your prayer. I have seen your tears. Behold, I will heal you. The third year shall go up to the house of the Lord, and I will add 15 more years to your life because of the man's faith. Because of his tears. God added, you have to be like those people in the time of Jesus. The paralytic man wanting to reach Jesus, everybody pack up, can't reach. His friends could say, well, I used to be trying, I make you come here and the place pack. And so I wonder if there's a place in the roof where we can go. If we can, everywhere is packed, but can we make a space in the roof? That space was made and let out. And Jesus Christ said, the man. And there's a man who stood by the pool, silent years, and he couldn't go in there because him paralyzed. But him kept on being there all those years. Even though it seemed hopeless, you have to have the ability. Is it faith? You have to have the ability, man. But still I believe. You have to believe the impossible. Your depression will go away one day. You can't stop believing as long as you're in the flesh, you know. Just the time you stop believing, your train will come through. Just the time. And life is about perspective. And a lot of things that seem bad. You know, we use words like bad things happen and unfortunate and things. No, you never know. Let me tell you the Christian life. You can't pronounce what has happened to your life until you come to an end. A whole heap of things that seem bad now. Things happen to you that seem bad. You don't know until the end of the story if it's really bad. A whole heap of things that seem bad, but things that seem good, by the way, you feel say a good thing happened to you and God send this person in your life, or Satan send them in your life. Some things you have to just wait out time. The story is told of a man in a village. At one day he was in the village, and suddenly a wild horse came in the barn. Now all the neighbors them say, boy, great luck, because this man does suddenly a horse escape somewhere and reach in his barn, and him have more horses now, and they come and say, boy, great news. Man shrugged himself, because a man who believed that you can't talk until in the end. Horse come in. So the next day the son no excited about this horse. Jump and start riding. And broke his leg. People them come and say, boy, bad luck. This one is a bad thing, awful things that the horse come. Yesterday them say that good thing the horse come. Now the horse come, a bad luck. The following day an army came through to conscript all the able young men to carry them to war to a far country. The only reason the man's son could not go was because he had a broken leg. Fortune change from time to time. You never know. You never know the story of what things that you think is bad luck and the awful thing will happen to you now. Stay on purpose. Once you stay on purpose, you recognize what's the most important thing in life. You stay on purpose and you watch God work out things. Stay. This is why your purpose is so critically important. Brethren, you can, the studies show you can survive so much. There are people who don't have the Holy Spirit. Don't have the Holy Spirit and who, well, I tell you, said, the Lord must be ashamed of us, because some people, I bring people on my program week after week that they tell such remarkable stories that there's so many people in Jamaica, boy, who depend for them weekly inspiration, them weekly church. It's on a Sunday evening at 6:30 to hear real life experience. People who've been through the most incredible things and survive. Not to Christians, sorry, not even members of the church. So how God feel? I wonder how God feel when we crumble at problems. And God, I watch them program there and see people who do well and have no Holy Spirit. Some of them don't believe in a God, and them doing so well. So want to we? Other people survive, they do well. This is the April issue of Success magazine. Article called Deal With It. Life is hard, but mental strength can make you unstoppable. Mental strength, man, a whole heap of... Read what the psychotherapist says. Rory is one of the strongest people I've ever worked with. He has survived cancer. He lost his father, his longtime girlfriend, and his job. A house fire destroyed his belongings. How much could I even do one of that? Rory lost all of that. But rather than allowing hardships to make him bitter, Rory focused on getting up and getting better. He walked into my office saying, I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to reach my goals and to give back to others. Despite the hand he was dealt, Rory expressed gratitude for what he had rather than focusing on everything that he had lost. Ever think about that? He learned and valued the lessons that came from his plant. Throughout my career as a psychotherapist, I've seen countless people beat the odds. I just interviewed a psychotherapist who was, she specializes in trauma cases. Children who have seen incredible violence. She herself saw her mother stabbed by her boyfriend, who stabbed her and left her for dead too. The mother did die. She survived. She survived that. Well, shout out to me that I can't talk about here. Other traumas that she went through that she doesn't want to make public. And I asked her, of these people you work with, do they come back and bounce back? Yes. People bounce back who don't have the Holy Spirit, who depend on them regular spirit, and you are supposed to have Holy Spirit. We are counting down to the days, the Feast of Weeks, picturing the Holy Spirit. You have one of the fruits is joy. You have joy? Are you happy? I feel that the only importance I understand doctrine, you need to be happy. Happiness is one of the things that can draw people in a church. People have to say they deal with problems, man. The people in a tenement yard, they must say you're happy despite where you're going. The friends and people who work with you. If you're always sad, them now go on nothing to do with your God. You always look depressed and down. Them now have nothing to do with your God. I don't want to say God, if your God have no use. The tenacious individuals all had one thing in common: a desire to build mental muscle. They were determined to reach their greatest potential despite whatever challenges life threw to them. Those who collapsed in the face of adversity also shared a common thread, a static place in life. They were passed up for promotion. They struggled with long-term relationships and battled with emotional ups and downs. It's easy to feel mentally strong when life is going well, but sooner or later you'll reach a point when you need all the mental strength you can muster. A health crisis, a financial problem, or relationship trouble are just a few challenges. How you respond to those challenges makes a big difference in your overall well-being. Your mind can be your asset or your biggest weakness. Building mental strength is a key to greater life satisfaction. That's what the Bible says too. You think it's a psychology? A broken spirit who can spare? The Bible says a cheerful heart do it good like a medicine. You talk about medicine? Really a stunning story. The article came out February 2017 issue of Psychology Today. I tell you, I read a lot of psychology, philosophy, theology, psychology. Prescription for me 45 years in the church.
And you know what is out?
Yeah? I know you pretty adult, man. This is February, man. This is not the latest, man. You're behind time, Brother Clark. Don't get turned out with me intimacy party. Forget about that. When the body speaks, it's a very important thing. Psychosomatic illness is baffling to patients and doctors. But it happens for a reason. Sadness. Sadness can be too impenetrable for words. Sometimes you're sick physically. And you go to the doctor and you can't find anything wrong. Now, sometimes I'm concerned about that because sometimes when some of these doctors can't find anything wrong, I'm concerned because sometimes something serious happened to you, them can't find anything wrong, they misdiagnose them, say them can't find, and you're really sick bad. So you have to get the best advice. I have more than one doctor. I have different specialists I get, and I make sure I have a professor who is him out of the island often. They are New Zealand, they are Australia, and do a whole lot of cutting edge research. He is a man who knows things. I remember when I went to him, and when my cholesterol was 6, I said, but my cholesterol is 6, I put blood pressure good and all that. And him said to me, I've been talking to me about diet. Him said, I say, people with your same profile and him get heart attack. And I don't follow the man. I said, I'm just little over the cholesterol thing, man. That's thing. And he had recommended that I take the statins, and I didn't take it because I read some foo-foo alternative thing where your mother give me the doctor something that man for listen to me of wrong advice follow him and suspicious about statins and all that, and he'll kill himself anyway. So me never follow him, but the man was saying expert that he is, yes, the indicators are not dangerous, but in my clinical practice, me say, you could have think, well, me never think and me do me stress test and me all right, and cholesterol thing. So that can be a problem. You check different people, and probably you really need some good advice, because sometimes other people find out that something is wrong with you if you didn't find out in time. But sometimes you go to the best doctors and they do the best tests and they cannot find something, but you are feeling the physical symptom. You are feeling something, and you are seeing the physical effects. Well, the fact is, something is wrong psychologically. The psychosomatic illness is real. And this doctor is pointing out that sometimes patients get upset with him because they want to say, but you send me a lie because me I tell you I'm sick and you are telling him. So he says, whereas for some illnesses, it is the empirical test that tell you whether you're sick or not. For other illnesses, so for some illnesses you look for evidence. For other illnesses, it is the lack of evidence that is the evidence. When the lack of evidence say, I do everything and nothing is wrong with you physically, that is evidence that something is wrong psychologically. Let me tell you. Pauline, 25, had been admitted to the hospital with pain and swelling in her leg that no amount of morphine could quiet. Her third admission for the same complaint. She had been in and out of hospital for 12 years with an array of problems, and invasive tests had never yielded a definitive explanation. That morning, the team looking after her told her that they had exhausted all tests in the search for a cause. Nothing further needed to be done, and she could go home. 1 hour later, Pauline had packed her bags and was in the bathroom when she lost consciousness. Once she was fully awake, she was carried back to her bed. But almost as soon as she got there, she felt the seizures begin again. No sooner had Pauline's mother arrived to take her home than a third convulsion struck. I met Pauline shortly after. From an early stage in my medical training, I knew that I wanted to be a neurologist. I enjoyed the detective drama of the job, unraveling the mysteries of how the nervous system communicates its messages and learning all the things that can go wrong. Neurological disease manifests in elusive and strange ways. It says, modern society likes the idea that we can think ourselves better. When we are unwell, we tell ourselves that if we adopt a certain mental attitude, we'll have a better chance of recovery. I'm sure that is correct. But society has not fully woken up to the frequency with which people do the opposite, unconsciously think themselves ill. Psychosomatic disorders cause real distress and disability. But there are medical disorders like no other. They obey no rules. They can affect any part of the body. In one person, they might cause pain. It is not unusual for someone going through a period of stress to be troubled by palpitations. Psychosomatic illness can also manifest in ways that are more extreme but less common, such as paralysis. Problems can paralyze you, or convulsions. Almost any symptom we can imagine can become real when we are in distress. Tremor, fatigue, speech impairments, numbness, anything. It's an amazing thing. Actually knew that your heart can have problems and things. But him say anything. Him say blindness. That stress can actually, it doesn't discriminate against the body as to which part of the body it affects. Christians especially, because we have some things that can cause a problem, We have to be very, Christianity kind of predisposed with something because we have some struggle. Come on, you are struggling against your natural nature. Some of us, we even struggle to hold our resentment against some people who treat your body, That take a skill, That if you don't know if you do that, you're turning the anger upon yourself, you become sick, Because you try to be forgiving in church, a teacher must be forgiving, and pastor, a teacher must be forgiving. We have some people that hate you, and because you can't even curse them and tell them what you really want to tell them, or tear them down, Because sometimes you feel better if you tell some people about them and tear them down. You get off of your chest, Sometimes you have to talk about get off your chest, but there's something to get off of your chest, You feel better when you all curse off some people, or you tear them down and make them feel like nothing, But you see, when you can't do that, and you are forced to love them, I think you can make you sick, There's some Christians, they have some serious psychological thing you have. I walk with a lot of pain. Other people in a marriage and they're very upset with them. They don't want to show them like them. They want to take her. They want to be patient. They don't want the body to say they're unkind. They don't want the body to say they have anger problem. But the seed in anger inside hurt you more. I mean, I say it must go explode, But you have to find psychological, healthy ways of dealing with it. Sexual repression also can be a problem. Control yourself. We have strong desires and you don't know how to manage it. Worse now if you find yourself without same-sex attraction. Same-sex attraction where you know for your lifetime you can't express. Those things are, and the church the church have to learn how to help people in these conditions. The church has to be a compassionate place where people who are struggling with homosexual desires, they must know they can come to us and talk to us with confidence and love, and we not make joke after them things. We have to, the church, the community, we have to help people. Psychosomatic. On an average day, perhaps as many as a third of the people who go to see their general practitioners have symptoms that are deemed medically unexplained. Medically unexplained. Psychosomatic disorders are physical symptoms that mask emotional distress. I have found myself astounded by the degree of disability that can arise as a result of psychosomatic illness, the mind causing problems. He puts it this way: when words are not available, our bodies sometimes speak to us. And him say we better listen. A lot of times there are things buried. And people manifest hardships in different ways. They manifest the stress thing in a different ways. He mentioned a guy named Matthew who come to him and him go all over the place and him don't get any answer, and they sent him to see a psychiatrist. And he felt he had multiple sclerosis. I'm completely sure you don't have multiple sclerosis, I told Matthew. How sure are you? All of the tests are negative, the doctor says. What percentage are you sure? The doctor says, I am completely sure. Matthew said, you can't be 100% sure. Nothing is 100% sure. Matthew was a product of the internet age. When he came to me, his research had utterly convinced him that he had multiple. Everybody become expert now. Everybody gone on internet now, and internet wreck a lot of man's life. People don't respect your expertise anymore. Man, him feel him a theologian, him understand doctrine. I'm reading some nonsense on the internet. Matthew's problem began with a sensation of pins and needles in one foot. Sitting at his computer in his office, he would feel it tingling and need to stand and move around to make it go away. In the evenings it would go, but the next working day it would come back. So Matthew had a lot of problems. They sent him to a psychiatrist. 6 weeks after, I was greeted by a transformation. Somewhere in the time that we had last met, Matthew had been converted himself to the idea of psychosomatic disorder. How did the meeting with the psychiatrist go, he asked. The psychiatrist explained things a lot better than you did. He said the nervous system is like a computer. My hardware is intact and the wires are in the right place, but I have a software problem that keeps my legs from receiving the instruction to move. Many of us have software problems. Hardware, all right. And the software problems manifest the hardware. Brethren, we have to learn. This is crucial. The health affects our vitality. The service that you're supposed to have, you have to concentrate on yourself. Therefore, the more of us are crippled by personal problems, worse now leaders, that's why I tell leaders of all, make sure we are healthy psychologically, otherwise, make sure we are all right to help the people who are struggling. Leaders especially, manage your personal lives. When you get up in the morning, think about all that can go wrong. Please, leaders, spend your time looking at all the areas in your lives and seeing where your vulnerability, and even the areas where you're not thinking. You need to be around for the people. You are a primary target. Don't just bury your head in theology and studying doctrine and you don't understand one earthly thing about psychology and your mind. You need to strengthen yourself spiritually. You need to recognize the important role that you have. And we, brethren, the joy is one of the fruits of the Holy Spirit. Let's go to John 14. We'll close not too long from now. It's very important in this wilderness that we understand these principles. John 14:1, let not your hearts be troubled. Let not your hearts be troubled, Jesus says in his last discourse. John 14 and verse 27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world gives peace. Let not your hearts be troubled. Don't let your hearts be afraid. You have to cultivate the spirit of a positive attitude. It's the attitude that Paul displayed in Philippians. You couldn't believe the Philippians written from the jail. The jail the man write Philippians from, and the man talks so much about rejoice. The man tells you so much. Him say, I learn how to abound and I learn how to abase. In all things you must learn contentment. You cannot be a person who you're only happy when you have money, you're only happy when you have a woman in your life or a man in your life, when you have friends in your life, when things are going well in the church. You cannot allow circumstances to determine your happiness. Things are going well in the church, things are buoyant, things are growing, you're happy. Church and problem, people that leave church, few people in church get sad. No, man, you must make external things affect. You have to have a personal relationship with the Lord. You can always be drawing on the bounties of the Lord, man. Build happiness in your life and build happiness in your everyday life too. Do something every day that gives you some kind of pleasure, some kinds of delight. Have variety in your life. Some of you are too boring. You might think that has nothing to do with spirituality. Boredom can affect your spiritual life. Some of you need to adjust your schedule. You're too dull. You're doing the same thing over and over. That is why you're so depressed and you're so out of sort. Do some new things, man. And you don't have to need up money. Don't tell me you need money if you don't. You have to need money, man. Whole heap of free things around that place. Free things, man. Free place you can go. Check out that people. Free things.
Free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well, free Wi-Fi. But it's only Wi-Fi alone. You need to get a break from the Wi-Fi sometime. Break from that and have real human interaction. Real human interaction. Do some things different. Do some things that cause you fun. If part of your fun is, you want to deal with some Facebook and so on, do something that brings you some kind of thing, man. Wife and I, we haven't been to the movies. Well, I might think about the movies later on. Unforgettable, man. Yeah, man. We're say forget, man. Yeah, man. We're thinking about Unforgettable tonight, man. We're going to dinner and movie and all that, man. That's part of our. Yeah, man. That's part of our thing, man. We don't live a boring life, man. We do exciting things together, man. Younger children, them say, well, they can't keep up with us. We are exciting. But I link that to spiritual life,
Yes. One package.
It is one life. If my life is too dull and my wife very unhappy, and so it's going to, it's one life. So you can't bifurcate your life. It is one life. So for me, career, marriage, everything must have a synergy. So I want to have church life every Sunday. I want to have all this schizophrenia. One life. And Paul, in Philippians 3, listen to your approach, Philippians 3. Verse 7, whatever gain I had, I counted it as loss for the sake of Christ. Indeed, I count everything as a loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Jesus. I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish. I've been telling you the problem with you is that most of the mindset of the world don't really come out of Egypt. The more you come out of Egypt, Paul could have had that contentment in life. Because he was not thinking of going back. He did not look back on him life in rabbinic Judaism and say, boy, it was a glorious life. Him counted as dung. I can't use from the pulpit what the local interpretation of what dung is. But Paul counted it as dung. Problem with someone who still have some attachment. Some little money Babylon giving for broke Sabbath, broke the feast days, still going after little Greeks and Babylon treating like a slave. Throw some little crumbs. I want to run after it. We broke the feast days and broke thing there. Me, I starve. Yes, man, let me starve and dead and be in the kingdom. That's why I survived so long. And I'll tell you something to me. The same time, me I starve too. Me I starve with joy. Because me I starve and I know say next time I wake up in the kingdom. It may be an illusion, but it's alright. It make me happy. Me I starve, but me I say me in the kingdom. What a way to go. I am starving, I'm letting go of this flesh, but in my next waking moment. And if there were even no waking moment, at least I live my life with a purpose and died stress-free. I lived according to my conviction. I want to say to you, brethren, as we move out of Egypt, I want to say, with this spirit that Paul had, counting everything as dung. And he says in verse 12 of Philippians 3, not that I have already attained or am already perfect, but I press on to make it my own, because Christ has made me his own. Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it, but this one thing I do, I forget the things that are behind. We have to forget. We have to live. Sometimes having some problems. I have to just living at the present. If you go on living in the past and thinking about all the painful memories, you reliving all the hurt. And if you're projecting in the future, you're worrying about things that might not come to pass. Why worry about things that might not come to pass? If they are going to come to pass, well, deal with it and worry then, or have the problems then. This is the present. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.